I promised you guys more vlogs, so here we are. Okay, we're in the woods. We're gonna take a walk through the woods, have a little chat. I have my painting stuff in my backpack, so possibly I'll do some painting at a later point, but I need to find something that I want to paint, because just being in the woods, I don't know, it's not that fun to paint for me personally. I want like a house in the woods or some kind of structure. That would help me greatly. Maybe we'll also see some squirrels, right? Like in these parts of the British woods, you get loads of squirrels, and probably also some deer and stuff, but obviously they stay away from the front during the day. And there are loads of foxes in these woods as well. So it's really nice. This is thousands of miles away from any form of civilization. That's a lie. Did I say already that we're in the north of London? We're in the north of London, okay. But you get these woods, you can kind of see it. They're pretty wild, you know. These are wild woods. They are not parks, so to say. And you can wander around in them and discover them. So that's it. Basically, we're going to keep walking. I'm going to see if I can find anything. I'll take you guys with me. And you can see there's no other humans around. That's actually a lie as well. There are some people over there. Anyway, you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's see what I can find. There it is. Acting all inconspicuous. Is that a word? But it acts like he didn't do anything wrong. Trying to not look suspicious. But I mean, look at this fella. Look at him. Look at him real close. They don't come more suspicious than these guys. Yeah, you. That's right, you. Talking about you. You know exactly what this is about. Don't pretend. I swear he's gonna run away in a second. Because he knows I'm up to him. Yeah, he knows. He knows he's screwed. I've got the evidence, bro. What are you gonna do? Nothing? You just sitting there? You just sitting there? Okay, let's go over, say hello. Maybe he just wants a little bit of human contact. Oh, ooh, that could be the option. Hello, mate. You all right? Where are you going? What are you up to? No, you don't need to leave. We can be friends. We can do high fives. Oh, there he is now. Do you see him? What's up, dog? You're a fat one. You're fat. Jesus, good Lord, how fat you are. You're a chubby one. You're gonna make it up that tree or not? Look at those fat wrinkles you have. You live in the woods. How do you get so fat? I mean, look, I can't talk much about myself, but I don't live in the woods. Where is he? Oh, he's there. You can see his shadow. Can you see his shadow? Oh, he's right around the corner. Oh, he's hiding from me. Come on, buddy. I saw your ear. Go the other way. Where are you at? Because you're too fat. You can't make it up all the way to the tree. Oh, okay. He's making it up. I think he's making it up. There he is now. Okay, fine. Honestly, I don't know what was wrong with that squirrel. I was just trying to say hello, trying to be nice. You know, it's a sunny Sunday. Well, wouldn't you say hello? But somehow it didn't like me. It ran away. Look at these picturesque scenes unfolding over here. Do you see that? Probably doesn't really come across on this camera. But it's pretty. It's a pretty neck of the woods, as they say. Do they say this? I don't think anyone ever said this. But to be honest with you, I think at the end of this road, there's like a small house, like a cafe or something. So I'm going to try to make it to that. But before that, I'm going to see if I can get on this swing over here. Check it out. That's the thing people do in England, because England is a very poor country. Okay, we don't have much as a whole. So what people do to amuse themselves is they tie pieces of wood using a rope to a tree. Do you see that? It's very solid, it's not dangerous at all, and it functions as a swing for adults as well as kids. So I'm gonna go on it. I'm gonna swing around like crazy. Well, that didn't work. How am I gonna have to do this? Like that. Okay, you ready? Oh God, I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. Oh God, this thing is doing things to my groin area. This is fun. Fuck. Hey, look at me, I'm swinging. I'm having a great time in the woods. I wonder if it's safe. It looks really safe. I mean, they put children on it, right? I barely weigh more than a child, so it should be fine. It's safe. is perfectly safe. We'll keep walking this way and we might be able to find this house that I'm talking about. This cafe thing. Let's hope and pray there's civilization. Because at this point, I need some liquid civilization. All right, let's see where we get to. All right, guys, I found the house. It's a small cafe. So I'm going to attempt to paint this. It's a bit tricky. I'm probably going to like not paint some of the bushes that sit up here in front of this roof. I'm just going to pretend they're not there. Keep that clean so we get a nice view on the entrance of the house. Now the way I approach paintings like this is I'm going to try to first get the overall width, right? Like so from somewhere to here to this side, like just that width, and put that onto my piece of paper. And then once that's done, I'm going to break down like what is this distance, right? As the overall distance here, what is this, like a third or something? So I'm going to try to trace those proportions onto the paper now, but yeah, let's get started. As you can see, I've like really loosely plotted out the proportions of the building. There's not much detail there yet, but it will give me almost like a guideline as I'm going into more detail. And next I'm going to do colors, so you guys will be able to see how I just loosely fill this in, and then by the very end of it I'm going to go in with black lines. So yeah, this is kind of my process. Very, very loose, simple pencil sketch first. So first I'm just plotting out like rough color patches. So the whole house is made from these reddish bricks. So I'm gonna plaster everything that is basically part of the brickwork with a light red tone. And to be honest with you, some of the woodwork as well, because this is just going to be like a base coat for the overall paint that I'm going to apply later. So at the moment it's not really important. We're not going into any detail here. It's all very, very top line colors. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slightly darker color that also almost has a little bit of green in it and create like this brownish tone, and that's going to serve as the base coat for the roofs and all that. So we have this brown base color, which again we're going to put stuff over it later on, right? So it's just a layer that sits underneath it in the very background. now I've given it kind of a basic coating of color, and now what I'd like to do is I'll get out another type of color to create some highlights. So you can see inside my backpack I have a bunch of Copic colors. Not all of them still work, but that's how I like to work, you know. So I'll take a little red shade like this. I'm just going to try to augment a lot of these little details on the top here that has more of an orangey taint. So the lines up here and all that. So I'm going to try to use a Copic paint like that, a felt pen basically. So these felt pens really allow you to pull out little details, right? Like for example the brickwork. What I'm doing now, you can just kind of give a hint of the brickwork, and you'll see by the end of it how we can kind of tickle it out even more and how it's going to feel right. And the same is going to happen up here, because if you look at the roof, right, there are all these little lines. There's quite a bit of detail, and the moss and stuff that sits here. So I'm going to have to find a way to tickle that out there as well, and I think I'm going to use a pen like that as well. All right, so that was the exhausting part, okay? Mapping out the dimensions and getting the textures in place and adding the colors and all that. That's the part I don't enjoy that much. So, but here we go, right? Building, and maybe it's more like this, right? Like this, and like that. I don't know. There might be some similarity there, I'm not entirely sure. But now we come to the fun part, boys and girls. And that's the black outlines, okay? That's just the way I paint. Other painters have their own ways, but I like to go in with like a base layer of color and almost textures, and then go over it with a little outliner. So here you can see what I'm using, Uniball Eye Fine, okay? Japanese. Also a bit of general advice here. If you're painting with watercolor, note how I'm leaving out white spots, right? Very important. It's nice to have these textured elements here that indicate depth, but like these white spots are equally important. Note how around the windows I leave some white spots. Up here in the tower there are some white spots. It helps to give your painting some breathing room, and for the other color to really pop. If you're working with watercolor, never go like full-fleshed color, right? In the sense that everything is filled with the color. Make sure you leave those little playful white spots here and there. This is really also the moment where you really want to take a close look at your object again. Don't rely too much on the sketches, basically, the sketchy lines that you've done before. Take a close look at your object and paint from the object rather than from the helping lines that you sketched yourself earlier. And you see there are little lines like this that I basically just messed up, but the truth is nobody cares. In the bigger picture, oh, did you see this? Look what just landed on my finger. Oh God. It's a giant mosquito. You didn't see it. I tried to get it away. But you see little lines like this one that I've kind of just messed up. Nobody will notice them in the bigger picture in the end. So don't worry, you know, people are always too worried that, oh, but what if I mess up this line, or what if I mess up that line? Don't worry about it too much. There's not much you can mess up, because if you keep a certain stroke, right, like a certain way of drawing your lines, almost anything is allowed and nothing is wrong. So I wouldn't worry too much. And if you have that mindset, you know, that nothing really can be wrong in what you're doing, then it takes away a lot of the worry, right, and the fear, because painting is a lot about not being fearful, right, and accepting failure and just playing kind of. It's a tricky thing, but ultimately I think painting, and look, I would not consider myself a particularly good painter, right? I just enjoy painting, but like painting ultimately is a practice thing. It's like anything else, you know, if you want to practice how to build a wall for a house, you can do that, and if once you've done 30 walls, you will roughly be good at building walls, you know, and you'll be able to say, well, I'm confidently now saying that I can paint this wall. So it's a practice. It's something you can practice. And yeah, if you like this kind of thing and you're like, oh my God, I could never paint, just try it, dude. Just go out there. That's kind of why I'm doing these videos. It doesn't need to be the best painting that has ever been conceived by humanity, but it will be your painting and it will be nice. I'm sure it will be nice. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. So now we're getting somewhere. You can kind of start to see how it's slowly coming together, right? How it's slowly starting to look like the building. We're still missing a lot of the foliage detail here, foliage up there, foliage on the left. You can see I kind of started there already. And then by the end of it, I want to bring in a bit more darkness as well here and there, right? Like it makes no sense that over here it's so bright. But this is stuff I'm going to do in the end, so we'll get there. So here's a problem that a lot of people have when they do painting, and that it takes them a long time to learn. At least for me, it took a long time. And that is the importance of darkness, okay? You need to really try to get darkness into your painting, because otherwise it will look flat. And you can kind of see this over here on the greenery, the foliage, the trees. There's not much darkness in there. It's all very flat, like light green shades, so it has no depth to it. You start to get a little bit of it here in this area, and some other areas, but overall there's just not a lot of depth in there yet. So on one hand, what I like to do is, like, I just try to pronounce my objects a little bit more by giving them this slightly thicker black line around it. It makes it just stand out ever so slightly. It's basically a technique you learn in like comic books, or at least I learned it in comic books, where you can kind of see, look, we're going to pop this object out, right? We're going to really make it stand out with a bunch of outlines. And all you do is you just go around the edges of your painting and highlight it here and there, right? Just make it a bit more thicker, because we don't want to give any more detail. All we want to do is add like this little bit of weight around our object that we're painting. So that's one way of doing this really easily. Also in certain areas, right, like here where the stairs meet this sign and stuff here, and this grass. So maybe you want to have a bit more darkness there. So just to give it a little bit of like black splodges here and there, right? It's really, don't think too much about the single lines and the detail. It is much more really about where your eye perceives little black spots in the painting. So that's what I'm doing. And then every now and then, you know, keep the lines thin as well. So it's a nice mixture between very thin lines, you see them here, and the slightly thicker black lines that just frame the whole object. Don't go too hard on it though. I mean, it sounds easier said than done, right? So here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my watercolors out again, or maybe my Copics, my felt pens, and give this whole thing a little bit more darkness here and there. Right, so the trick really is, if you want to make certain things pop in your painting, you have to add darkness to the other parts. So I've already kind of done this on this reverse side of the tower here on the left hand side, added a bit of darkness there, but I feel it's not really enough. So I have this crumbled up brush here, right? You can see it's not a very sharp brush, but actually I find sometimes this helps, right? Because it gives your painting a little bit more texture rather than just being flat colors. So you can kind of play with it there like that. Again, be careful, you don't destroy all the white spots that you nicely left for yourself, right? You did leave yourself a bunch of white spots. You don't want to ruin all this lovely texture, but you see how you can use this brush, it's almost broken brush, to create the illusion of brickwork, right? Because it doesn't cover everything, it just covers a little bit. So there you go, you can give it some nice texture around it. And then sometimes, you just have to be brave. And you have to put very, very dark spots into your painting, which is a hard thing to do, I'm not gonna lie, because it feels risky, right? It feels like, oh, we might ruin it all now, but there's no other way. If you want to have that depth, that perspective, that sensation of layers of depth in your painting, you'll need to go down this route and be brave about the black spots, okay? Really double down on them. Right, and then I think we're almost there, right? We're almost there. We just want to add these finishing touches here and there. And again, to me, this kind of stuff is really just about bringing darkness back into it. So if we have this path that kind of leads around the building there in the back, it would have some darkness. So I'm just going to sprinkle some dots in there. As you can see it here, that just indicates like a path that goes up there. Make it a bit more dark. Same with like areas like under these plants here, right? Under the plants there would certainly be some shadow next to this fence would be more shadow, right? This would be darker. So we're going to give it a whole set of darkness right here. So do we do this side of the pot and this side back here? You just have to think from the light's perspective almost, right? There you go. So you can start to see a little bit of depth coming in there with this plant in the front, some of those in the back. Same with this plant probably, right? Give this some darkness. Just make it pop a bit more. Side of the stairs, a bit of darkness there. Right, and you slowly start to see it coming together and almost looking like a painting. Let's give this one a bit more texture up here, because those have these small roof tiles as well. So texture, that's what we're doing. So there you go. I think there's a few little things, where I could add more detail. Maybe these windows have some kind of window frame, so we can add a bit more work there. And in fact, actually they have little window lines there as well. So little details like that. But I think for the most part we're done, guys. That's it. Probably not a masterpiece, but it's roughly recognizable from what I was trying to paint. But you see, despite us going back and adding darkness to these windows here and stuff, the darkness is not really there, right? I'm almost tempted to go in with like a proper black pen and just really give it this kind of black darkness up here on the terrace, just to make it pop a bit more. But I think that's fine. I think I'm roughly okay with this, where it is now. I mean, look, you can always spend more time on any painting, but I think for the most part this will do the trick, and we'll consider it a finished painting. So there it is. It's as good as it's gonna get. I feel like over here we need a bit more texture on this path that leads out, because over there is actually a playground, which I didn't paint, but there is a little playground next to it. So there you go. How about that? I need to go to the wide angle, otherwise it doesn't even remotely look similar, and you can't see most of it because it's behind the trees. But anyway, that's it. So guys, that's it. That's it for today. My vlog from the woods comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. We did some painting, did some walking around. It was fun. Please let me know your thoughts on this kind of content down in the comments. If you want to see more of it, let me know. If you don't want to see more of it, let me know as well. Okay, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Oh God, now I'm really stuck in the mud now. Anyway, I'm gonna make my way home now. Again, I hope you enjoyed the little forest vlog, whatever you want to call it. Thanks so much for watching, for hanging out. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, take care of yourselves. I'm out. Bye.